There he is, the popular Tim Cowlishaw. How are you, Tim?
Hey, Dan, how we doing? Is that how this works?
Your hair looks good.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's early in the morning to look this good, but it's very soft, as you know.
Do you wake up and it looks like that?
Pretty much. It's there's not a lot of variety. There's not a lot of fluctuation.
You're like Jimmy Johnson?
I don't know about his. I think that helmet that he puts out there, that takes some work. That takes a lot of ozone layers to destroy to get that thing in shape.
All right. So if you wrote a column at halftime of the Cowboys against the Falcons, what would you have said?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, because so many of our great columns end up not in print because of a shocking change at the end of the game. And I used one paragraph of this, but I was really going to get into 20 years ago. Dave Campo's debut was against the Eagles. That was the pickle juice game. Remember that game? 109 degrees at Texas Stadium. Eagles opened with an onside kick, just beat the hell out of them. Injured Troy, injured Galloway. Whole season went up in flames. This was different from that, but I was wondering how Mike McCarthy could make such a poor home debut. Every player on the team is fumbling. They look completely unprepared. They run two horrible fake punts. Nobody goes 0 for 2 in fake punts, and they did. And yet, because of a lot of things, a little bit of their credit, a little bit of Zerline's credit, and a lot of Atlanta Falcons, they end up winning the game 40-39.
All right. I don't know what Cowboy fans feel like today because, okay, now you're back down to earth. You got the win. You shouldn't have gotten the win. It was incredible, and now you go to Seattle. Do you have any idea what kind of team Dallas has this year?
You know, I still think they're pretty good. I think the fumbles are a flukish thing. Zeke is not a big fumbler. Dak had fumbling issues 2 years ago, not so bad of late. And who knows if Dalton Schultz, I mean, is he a fumbler? We don't really know. He's never really handled the football there. But, I mean, I think the offense is going to pile up a ton of yards and score some. But the defense really against the Rams wasn't very good. They gave up a lot of yards. This time, because of the fumbles, they gave up points quickly. But I think Atlanta could have, if Atlanta wanted to just come in and throw the ball, and I don't know why they didn't. They were determined to see how many times they could run Todd Gurley into the middle of the line for 3 yards. They had the Cowboys secondary outmanned, and they stayed away from it. Ryan threw for 4 touchdowns, and Julio dropped another one. So I think the Cowboys have real concerns against Russell Wilson and those receivers. Having said that, Seattle's last in the league in defense right now. Their defense is getting shredded, and they just lost Bruce Irvin, and they lost a guy in the secondary. So, I mean, I think that's kind of a slugfest Sunday afternoon. I think people feel like, okay, this Cowboys team hasn't shown it's better than last year. It's still pretty good. We need to see more.
When you watch that onside kick, what do you see?
Initially I'm watching it and I just don't think it's going to go 10 yards. If you watch it, and we've all watched it 20 times now, but by the time it gets to the numbers, the 40, it's not even gone the full 5 yards. It's got to go 5 more yards. And all of a sudden it makes a right turn into the Falcons. And you just don't know, like, why aren't they falling on it? And I think I was thinking that. I know I think that afterwards, but I think I was thinking the Falcons can follow this ball. They don't have to wait for 10 yards. Once it goes to 10 yards, it's a free-for-all. So you don't want to just stand there like it's going down the third baseline and you hope it goes foul, because if it goes fair, you're screwed. And they were screwed. And so, Dan Quinn said afterwards, the players know the rules. I have very little doubt that the players don't know the rules.
And I don't know if Dallas's players knew the rules either.
They don't, because C.J. Goodwin, the guy who recovered it, said, see, with the new rule, they can't touch it for 10 yards. Okay, C.J., great recovery, but you don't know the rules either.
I was also wondering about this, Tim, with the pitch of the football field. So it's usually higher in the middle of the field, and then it pitches down, when there's rain, that they always had those football fields. Like, I don't know what Dallas's playing surface is like, but I was wondering about that. I didn't know if the ball was going to go 10 yards, But I didn't know if it's going downhill a little bit if there's a pitch in that football field.
I think most of the fields, now that I think about it, don't have as much of a crown as they used to.
Yeah.
When you and I used to patrol the sidelines in the 80s and the 90s. But they still have a little. And so it might have been going a little bit downhill. I think it's a little bit of it's a great kick by Zerline. It's a little bit of a fluke that it's rolling and rolling and rolling. And then all of a sudden it goes this way, which you need it to do.
That's incredible.
But to his credit, he's worked on it. He said he and Johnny Hecker used to play around with the Rams and practice it because they knew with the new rules, you got to do something different than, the other onside kicks today aren't working.
Does Dak just take that DVD of the game and then just slide it under Jerry Jones's door with his performance?
After the fumble, yeah, because, it looked like the first 3 or 4 possessions, hell, they're not even going to be able to get the ball. The Cowboys had 2 tackles missing. The Falcons were coming at him. Dak's getting hit. He's been sacked. He's fumbled. He's thrown a couple balls in the dirt. And to go from that to 450 yards and hitting all the right throws. But I think Jerry has a stack of those DVDs now. So I don't know what it is that's going to bring. We mostly don't have to write about it and talk too much about it for another few months. But you do wonder, if Trevor Lawrence will have his second contract before Dak gets
Monday Night Football. I know that we like to focus on the negative here, and it feels like the national narrative is Drew Brees, ? Do you or did you take that away from last night's game, that the Saints and Drew Brees?
I want to point out very quickly that the Dallas Stars were playing the Tampa Bay Lightning at the same time last night. And you and I once traveled the NHL circuit.
Yes, we did.
During the Stanley Cup finals and such.
My Stars.
But no, I did watch a fair amount of the game, and I watched some of the throws people are concerned about. I think the obvious thing we have all found out for sure is that Michael Thomas isn't just a guy who benefits from Drew Brees. That is a two-way street. And without that street, I don't know if he's going to play that poorly all the time, but it was a little bit more alarming than I expected for sure.
What is the storyline after 2 weeks that will still be there in 10 weeks?
The surprising storyline that will still be there in 10 weeks is that the Arizona Cardinals are really good and Kyler Murray is making a run at some of these other quarterbacks for MVP. The more solid story is that Baltimore is going to beat Kansas City this week and establish that they've taken all the debris from losing that game against Tennessee, made themselves a better team, and that they look unstoppable.
Yeah, but we look at Baltimore the way we do the Dodgers. Like, we don't care what you do during the regular season. We want to know what you're going to do when you get to the postseason.
But the Dodgers have had a lot of failures. The Baltimore's had one that matters for this club. So you can say Lamar Jackson the year before, but that team wasn't ready, and the Chargers took advantage of it.
Yeah.
I guess you can, but I think it's a little too soon to put them there.
Well, I picked them to win the Super Bowl, so I
expect
did too.
Them. That means we'll be watching somebody else.
I know. No, I had Kansas City winning last year.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
okay.
Yeah, I think I had Kansas City against the Eagles.
I had the Eagles, but it wasn't Kansas City. I don't remember.
Yeah, we probably had the Chargers or something.
Yeah.
The NFC East, though, this will help the
what
Cowboys.
A division.
Oh,
man,
it's sad.
Just stacked, top to bottom.
It's stacked bottom to bottom.
It is so bad. 2-6 this year. I think they were 24-40 last year.
Yeah.
It is just. The Cowboys again. If they go 9-7, they might walk away with it.
Well,
I had no idea the Eagles. They always get injuries, but I had no idea they'd look like this.
Are you on Around the Horn today?
I am on tomorrow, Dan, and it might be. I don't know if I can say this on the air. it might be the last one for me from home because we might be in studios sometime soon.
Wow. So this is a breaking story.
That I don't know if I'm allowed to break that, but I kind of feel like I just did.
But Schefter is going to take credit for that.
He will jump on it, and he'll get 8,000 likes around the horn moving to studio. 8,000 likes for Schefter.
I got to get Tony Reale out of his house.
Yeah, and you got to get him a haircut.
Yes, he's a mess.
He looks like a madman, and it's just it hasn't gone well for the Reales.
Well, good luck tomorrow. We'll be watching as always.
Thank you.
And we always appreciate the shout out.
I might wear the same shirt. I might give it a little tug here.
Oh, is that what you're going to do?
A little shout out.
Oh, now we're going to watch. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Danny.
That's Tim Cowlishaw, Dallas Morning News columnist, ESPN Around the Horn panelist, Dallas Stars apologist as well.